think I'm just going to put these next 3 books into one video because 2 of them I didn't get all the way through. However, there's a reason why I didn't get through one of them. So the next book is The Magician, which is the second book in the Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel book. Here's the thing. I am going to do this with all of the Secrets of Immortal Nicholas Flamel up to the point that I last read when I last owned these books. Reason being, Josh is the most annoying piece of shit ever. I fucking hate him. Like, Sophie sees the bigger picture. She's understanding. Okay, if we don't do something to stop them, the world is going to end, and no one else who's a normal human knows about it. We gotta stop it because they're a bunch of old fucks who don't have fresh magic like we do. Maybe we are part of a prophecy, maybe we're not. We need to stop this. Like, Josh is over here like, what did you do to my sister? And like, can we trust you? And it's like, well, clearly Nick doesn't want the world to end, so maybe you can trust him more than Dee. Like, I have 2 sisters and a brother. There's very little you could tell me that would make me mistrust those people, short of probably murder, but even then, it depends on who they murdered and why they murdered them. There's very little you could do short of illegal activity to make me mistrust these people. Like, I don't... And if we have to save the world, then my neurotic self and my other 2 sisters and my little brother are going to figure it out. Like, come on. They shared a womb. The 4 of us didn't even share a womb. We just share 3 of us a mother and 2 of us a dad. And 4 of us a dad. Like, come on. Every time I read this book, my whole thing about it is just like trusting your siblings, because I trust my siblings. And there's no amount of magical Hoosier Whatsits that could probably make me not trust them. So, I'm not reading the next book fully. I'm going to describe the plot of it to you, and then we're going to figure it out. The plot of The Magician is that they have to find an immortal to awaken Josh's magic, and Josh ends up learning how to sword fight. Sophie learns air magic. They go with Dee. Scatty, she gets pulled into a river, but she's a vampire. She just doesn't like getting wet, so she'll be fine. She comes back, I'm sure. But Josh gets his powers awakened by like a war god, but the same way that the Witch of Endor gave her memories to Sophie, that war god now has some amount of control over Josh, so that's a thing. And yeah, like, Josh is such a shitty brother. Like, even if this wasn't a magical story and the 2 of them went out into the world after like 21 or 18 and Josh decided not to go to college, try and pursue something else, and Sophie ended up being really successful and Josh didn't, or like Josh also went to college, and like, let's say that they both went to college, they both got the same grades, they both did everything the same in terms of like their grades and like their extracurriculars and things like that, but Sophie somehow just magically ended up being more successful than Josh, he would still be resentful. I find it hard to believe that a set of fraternal or identical twins with a healthy relationship beforehand would be this jealous of each other afterwards. Like, not even on Sophie's side, it's just Josh. I find it so hard to believe that if you share a womb and you have a healthy relationship, that this level of jealousy would exist for one party. Like, and like, whatever. I'm so cross about the sibling thing. The next book is called Crier the Firebird, and basically it's about a girl who needs to learn magic in like a month in order to keep a gate closed, because if she doesn't keep it closed, then like demons or whatever are gonna come through. And her grandfather is dead. He was supposed to be the one to teach her, but he didn't. And her parents died because of some creatures that came through, because they were attacking her grandfather because they want to get through this very specific gate for some reason. It's a Russian story. Part of the problem is with me reading stories that don't take place in a culture I am familiar with is that I can't attest to any of the folklore or mythos that they're pulling from. I can't. So, yeah. Anya doesn't believe them at first, but then after she's given an egg that turns into a Firebird, she starts believing. And yeah, none of the chapter titles feel fun. The book just feels tragic. Like, Song of Blood and Stone, which is the next book, that book feels grim, but this book just feels tragic. Song of Blood and Stone doesn't end up being grim. It actually ends up ending pretty happily. I can't imagine what the second book is about. It's by L. Penelope, and it came out in 2015, and it's the first in the Earthsinger chronicles. Its genres are fantasy of the historic and romantic types. I picked it up because it had a black girl in it. My copy said that there were extended scenes. I really wish I hadn't picked up that copy. So, the main girl's name is, hang on, Jasminda. She has black skin, so she's not liked by her family, not by people, including her family, because they associate that with, like, the enemy and stuff like that. She also has Earth Song, and people are scared of her. Her Earth Song's not very strong. This dude named Jack shows up. He, is like shocked to find that she's like polite and nice, and the two of them end up having to work together to bring the cracks in the mantle to a close. They have to figure out how to not let the mantle break, but the mantle ends up breaking. Somewhere in this, there's also a story about a girl named Ella caring for her nephew after her sister died, after they didn't talk for like 17 years. I didn't really care about that. My problems with the book is that they're very slow, and people don't trust Jasminda, even though she's the only one that can do the thing that will save them. They end up becoming king and queen in the book, and I just didn't like it very much, really. I look very tired. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have very much to say about this book because I just didn't end up liking it. It's at the top of the list for the wouldn't read again list, but that's only because, like, all the other books, I just didn't really care for them on the wouldn't read again list. Cry of the Firebird is 4th underneath It Devours. The Magician is 17th underneath Persephone. Hang on. The Rhythmatist is 10th underneath Evermore on the good books list. And Ladies' Guide to Petticoats and Piracy is 1st. Gods of Jade and Shadow is 2nd. Yeah. The next set of books that I have to read is going to be pretty fun. We don't spend very much time in the 2-digit or 100 area of pages. Spend a whole lot of time in the 200 and 300 area. And the last book on that list, actually, I'm just going to say it right now, is called Fire and Blood. It's a Game of Thrones book, and it is basically the story of everything that happened in the Targaryen family pre-show. I am uncertain as to whether or not I'm going to be able to do all of that book in one go because it is 700 pages. So, we'll see. Yeah, subscribe if you want. This is the last video for a while.